So we have the rules in wargaming. And there's this idea when you and I sit down to play a game of stepping into the narrative, taking these miniatures, taking the terrain, taking the rules, and stepping out of space and time and immersing ourselves in that universe. So the rules have this duality of not only stating what we can and can't do, so it's a reasonable game, so we both understand how we're going to play the game, but also trying to capture that feel, whether it's sci-fi, fantasy, or modern. But there are times when the rules kind of break down. They don't quite work. And certainly some gaming systems are tighter and more precise than others. And depending on what you're feeling in the moment, you might want to play a rule system that is very, very specific, or you might want something more narrative and open-ended. But there are going to be times, because you and we're trying to create some awesome wargaming memories, but I'm trying to give you a good fight. You're trying to give me a good fight. We're going to do our best both equally to win. There are times where the rules break down and maybe you have a question, or you come to a point, might be a pivotal point in the game. How do we do? How do we handle this? And you look through the rules and you're really not quite sure and you don't really quite understand. So how do we handle this? How do we handle this? My approach, I'm going to share my approach and looking at the bigger picture, especially if you're part of a gaming club or a gaming group. My approach is, if there's doubt or if the rules could go either way, you're not really that sure, I give it to my opponent. I give it to my friend. Look, if I'm going to lose the game because of this one thing, okay, I'll give it to you. I try to put that perspective first, put my opponent first, because we're trying to create these good memories. Now, I understand I've been wargaming for a long time. I've won many games. I've lost many games. I've had moments of winning tournaments and being up there. And I've had moments of playing at events. Do I really need another win? It's okay if I don't get that win. I understand this is coming from the perspective of someone that's been playing for a while. When you're new, when you're a young blood, victory is important and you're enthusiastic. So I'm not saying roll over, but look, give it to your opponent. See what it can do. Let it happen. I mean, they're still going to have to hit, or they're still going to have to see what happens. You know, perfect example is they're going to take a shot. I mean, this happened in historical game where I had the best place for my MG42 team. They're up there in the farmhouse, third floor. There's no cover. I've got the whole table, and my opponent had approached and then moved in such a way where he was able to get a shot, or so he thought. So we get down there and we're looking because it's complete line of sight. I'm thinking, well, you really can't see them because I've got that perfect deployment. I mean, look, I didn't place that terrain. This is a historical map we were playing on. There's a reason why things were set up in that house, that farmhouse, the way they were, and that was so pivotal for the battle. So I made it there and I set up. I mean, who wouldn't? But he was adamant, like, you know, look, I can see it. I've got line of sight. You know what? Take the shot. It's okay. Take the shot and let's see what happens. So that's my first thought. Give it to your opponent. Roll with it. Now, there are other times where I don't know what the rules say. We had this in BattleTech where something came up with infantry on a mech, and how do you deal with them? And do you like smash down on the ground because it was clans? And, you know, technically a lot of clan mechs don't have hands, so you can't smash them. But then if that happens, can the infantry jump off? And then if you're on the ground, can I hot drop more infantry? And like we really didn't know, you know, and it could have gone either way. So in that case, I also try to defer to my opponent, but I go for the narrative. What's going to create that memory? So if you're swarming my mech with your elementals and you're like, you know, I can do this something crazy, and you're pretty sure you can, but you're not really sure where it is in the rule book, then take it. Let's see what happens. If we can create some awesome memories, something to talk about, go for it. Now, tournaments are a little bit different, or group play, if you're part of a club, is a little bit different. Things can become a little bit more heated because there's a lot more involved. I think it's important to manage your presence and your reputation in the community. And what I mean by that is, again, be aware, do you want to win the game but lose the battle? Is it really that important to make such a point and start building your reputation as a rules lawyer or someone that's going to kind of look and pick apart every little piece. In terms of a tournament, it's easy. You call over the TO, the tournament organizer. They're like dread. They're law, right? Whatever they say goes. And that's fair. I try to resolve it with my opponent. I still try to give it in their favor, but there are times when I've said, look, I really don't know. It could go either way. This is for a couple of battle points or for the win. Let's get a tournament organizer over here. Another possibility if you're part of a gaming group is to get a club member, an impartial club member, or someone that knows all the rules. Get them over and say, hey, what do you think? But even that can create a little bit of heat. The method that I don't like, and a lot of people use this, and I've used it, and it's been a part of Warhammer 40K forever, and I'm sure it's in the current rulebook somewhere. When in doubt, dice it off. Can I do this? Can you see my Land Raider? Can this happen? Can I make it? 1 to 3, yes. 4 to 6, no. The problem with the dice off is it's still going to leave someone salty. It's still going to leave someone, okay, I agree to the dice off and I want a yes, I get a no. Well, I'm still pissed because I didn't get what I want. So from that perspective, the dice, I'm not a big fan of it, but there are times you could manage it that way. This is going to come up. It's going to happen. And part of it, I think, is where are you in the game and what can you let go? What do you want to let go? Managing your reputation and understanding the difference between, hey, this is a fun game. We're just playing for the lulls. We're trying to create some memories. Or are we talking about, it's the third round of the tournament. You're on table 2. And however this game goes, it's either going to catapult you to first or second or third place, or it's going to cast you down to like 16th place because you're just going to get slammed, well, maybe 8th place, on the battle points. That certainly has a different perspective and a different feeling.